So, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the absolute stars of today's Concours of Elegance. This is the 1969 Aston Martin DB6 Volante Mark II, whose owner is HRH, the Prince of Wales. And of course, it is fit for a prince. The stylish DB6 Volante was introduced a year after the coupe and was powered by a 4-litre straight six, producing 282 horsepower as standard and 325 horsepower in vantage form. A very rare and highly sought-after car. Only 38 Mark II examples were ever built during a production run of just over a year. And the Mark II examples are easily spotted by the lips surrounding the wheel arches, as you can see, accommodating the larger DBS wire wheels. Of course, all DB6s are special, but the Volante more so, and this car even more so, particularly noteworthy as it is the pride and joy of course, HRH, Charles, the Prince of Wales.
Now, the car was a gift from the Prince of Wales' mother on the occasion of his 21st birthday, and he's loved, cherished and thoroughly enjoyed it ever since. We even understand he asked legendary driver Graham Hill to teach him how to drive it on a racetrack while at a track day at the Thruxton Circuit. As a long-standing advocate of environmental preservation, His Royal Highness has also had the car converted to run on bioethanol, supposedly, I'm told, reliably informed, produced from a combination of wine and cheese, waste wine and cheese from the Duchy of Lancaster. So he practices what he preaches, which is good to know. But thank you very much, Tim, for bringing this wonderful motor car from His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, the Aston Martin DB6 Volante Mark II.
Something very special for this special year celebrating Her Majesty's Platinum Jubilee.
And now we have the 1923 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost shooting brake brought to us by Chris Blundell. Now, the term shooting brake was originally used to describe a horse-drawn wagon used to transport shooting parties and their equipment. And in any case, anyone is wondering, a British dictionary gives the definition of brake as a kind of vehicle. The definition of brake as a noun reads, a large wagonette, a carriage used in breaking horses. There you go. A Rolls-Royce perhaps isn't the first car that springs to mind when one pictures that image, but it makes a lot of sense, as Rolls-Royces were far quieter and more reliable than virtually any other vehicle of the time, making them ideal for quietly getting to remote shooting locations.
And this particular car is very unique in that it was originally owned by HRH, the Prince of Wales, who would later become King Edward VIII. In 1923, he commissioned Barker to apply a bespoke walnut effect finish to the aluminium panels. As you can see, it's resplendent and popularized the shooting brake layout. It's a well-traveled vehicle, having been taken by enthusiasts across the Atlantic in California, and even spent time as part of the Niagara Falls Antique Auto Museum collection. It's imposing, it's very special, it's historic, it's got a wonderful owner who's a great supporter of the event, so thank you so much for bringing it.
And this is part of our Royal Cars collection to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen, so thank you, Chris, for bringing it. A wonderful Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost shooting brake from 1923.
Well, it might be quiet, but I don't think it would hide among the trees very well. Okay, so now we have a 1961 Aston Martin DB4 GT Zagato to the ultra-lightweight DP209 specification. It comes from a private collection. Thank you for bringing it. This car needs no introduction, of course, but we're going to do one anyway, and hopefully we'll get it right this time. If Carrozzeria Zagato's philosophy was essential beauty, then the DB4 GT Zagato embodies it perfectly. The Aston Martin DB4 GT Zagato was unveiled at the 1960 London Motor Show. It was Aston Martin's ultimate development of their DB4 GT model, of course, on the shorter chassis. The Zagato, under the legendary designer Ercole Spada, took the DB4 GT and created a smaller, more aerodynamic, super lightweight car for Aston Martin to attack the mighty Ferrari on the racetrack.
And it's powered by the 3.7-litre twin overhead cam motor fed via triple Webers. Power was a strong 314 brake horsepower, and they were 40 kilograms lighter than the race-engineered DB4 GT. Muscular, rounded rear haunches like a thoroughbred ready to burst out of the starting gates, snorting air, and Aston Martin radio to feed and cool the engine. As you can see, look at this car, beautiful tapered bulges in the bonnet to clear the engine while keeping the frontal area as low as possible. The DB4 GT Zagato is unquestionably one of the sexiest GT cars ever penned. However, they were still heavier than their Italian rivals, and competition success was a little sporadic. and 3 out of the surviving 19 DB4 GT Zagatos were built to the much lightened DP209 specification specifically for racing. The 3 DP209 cars are easily distinguished with their lower roofline, broader rear wings and reshaped tail and flatter, longer nose. And this car, chassis 1093R, is the third of these ultra-lightweight examples and finished, as you can see, in French racing blue. Competing at Le Mans in 1962, this car, with its sleek bodywork and 3.7-litre, 314 horsepower straight six, hits an incredible 170 miles an hour down the Mulsanne Straight. Delighted to have the car here. Thank you very much for bringing it.
Well, that all clearly tells us what its purpose is. Very, very, very beautiful. This is the 1938 Delage D8 120S by de Villars from the Pearl collection, and Delage is a pre-war French mark synonymous with luxury and flamboyance. The de Villars was located just on the outskirts of Paris, yet founded, in fact, quite interesting, Richard, by an American, a Jay Gould, who'd named the firm after his son-in-law. Together with Delage, they created motor in artistry, and we see it right here. This one-off D8 120S sports beautiful and unique coachwork by de Villars and is powered by a 4.3-litre straight-8 engine. It's eccentric, it's dramatic, it's sexy, and its proportions lend it the air of a motor car that may have been driven by Cruella de Vil in the 101 Dalmatians. I wonder if that's where they got the name from.
Who knows? Well, with its geometric radiator grille and low, steeply raked screen, contrasting with the long, curvaceous teardrop fenders adorned with riveted fins and narrow body, this Art Deco rolling masterpiece is both graceful and aggressive all at the same time. Its purpose is made very clear by the external exhaust manifolds, and its proportions can only have been penned by a true creative romantic. The car was first displayed at the Concours de l'Automobile de Printemps in 1938 and sold new for $7,200 US, making it one of the most expensive cars in the world. And the current owner enjoys it. He purchased the car in 2019 and regularly uses the car motoring around Switzerland. I'm delighted to see he's found somebody, a lovely young lady who's hitched a lift with him today. Merle, great to see you. No, we understand. Lovely to see you both.
Now that's what Concours of Elegance and style is about. Here we have, ladies and gentlemen, a 1949 Alfa Romeo 6C 2500 SS Touring Berlinetta. Typical of Alfa Romeos of this era, the 6C stands standing for six-cylinder, had a perfect stance of proportions, and I've always felt that these quite tall disc wheels fill the arches perfectly, give it a lovely proportions. The 6C 2500 was available with open and closed coachwork, with many having been built at Carrozzeria Turin and Pininfarina, and 6C drivers included Tyrone Power, Rita Hayworth, Prince Rainier of Monaco, Prince Ali Khan, King Farouk of Egypt, and of course Keith Roberts, who's bought the car with us today. And the SS in the model designation stands for Super Sport, meaning a 2.5-litre straight six fitted with triple Weber carburetors rather than just one.
And the 6C 2500 offered tremendous performance through the gears to well over 100 miles an hour, with the Frecciadora or Golden Arrow Super Sports variants even more so. Dressed in tasteful and elegant coachwork from Carrozzeria Touring in Milan, this example is one of fewer than 70 post-war Super Sports and was delivered new to Pedazzo Marche in Italy on June the 16th, 1950. Beautifully presented in exceptional condition following a recent restoration. Keith, thank you very much for bringing the car. And here we have a 1903 Panaro Navasa brought to us by Sir George White. Now, originally founded in 1886 and 87 as a motor car manufactured by René Panard and Émile Levasseur, no other single manufacturer can claim to have had greater influence on motor car design and more dominance and success in the infant days of the motor industry and motorsport than Panaro Navasa. The classic Panaro design, La Système Panaro, was to become the standard of the industry with a forward-mounted engine, transmission amidships and driven rear wheels.
And this particular Panaro Navasa is equipped with a 10 horsepower motor and was purchased new in June 1903 by Sir George White, 1st Baronet, the founder of the Bristol Aeroplane Company, as a 21st birthday present for his son, Stanley White. They must have used quite a lot of wrapping paper on that. Stanley went to Paris to collect the car and on the way back was stopped for speeding, but was spared from prosecution when the gendarme took shelter inside the car from a torrential downpour, that summer being the wettest in 300 years, until this one. Remarkably, the car has stayed in the White family from new and is now in the hands of the present Sir George White, Stanley's grandson. So lovely to see a car like that with such wonderful provenance and history, Richard.
One careful owner, that's what we like. Lovely to see it. This is the 1903 Panaro Navasa. Sir George, thank you very much for bringing it in. Well, just have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of our Best of Show winners from 2016. This is the astonishing 1938 HispanoZona H6B Dubonnet Xenia from the Mullen collection. And the owner was 2 cars ahead of it. The HispanoZona was founded in 1904 as an automobile manufacturer which eventually had several factories in Spain and France producing high-end luxury cars. Prioritising refinement and luxury over sporty performance made them the choice of European royalty, Indian Maharajas, Hollywood film stars and industrial tycoons. The legendary HispanoZona mark was superbly engineered and unashamedly decadent. The story of this particular masterpiece starts with André Dubonnet, who was the heir to the Dubonnet aperitif fortune. He was a passionate racer and engineer, pioneering many innovations, including a 4-wheel independent suspension system called Hyperflex, which he promoted as having the suppleness of a cat. He desired a showcase for his ideas and so persuaded a highly modified HispanoZona chassis and was fitted with a new 8-litre straight 6 producing 160 horsepower.
And you were as supple as a cat getting out of that E-Type earlier, Richard, I noticed. In this majestic motor, master coach builder Jacques Salchik created a dream machine, one of the most extravagantly streamlined motor cars produced in an era of tall and boxy coaches. The Xenia's wildly futuristic design reflects the pre-war fascination with machines and, of course, aviation and flight. And it's not just the glamorous lines, teardrop-shaped wings, elongated, sensuous curves and artistic proportions that give this rolling sculpture its Art Deco cues. It's an Art Deco in its functional details too, and one exquisite feature which I've just demonstrated on the passenger side is the door mechanism. Using a centrally mounted handle, the doors effortlessly slide open backward parallel to the body, a very unique way of opening the doors. And the view from behind the sharply tapered rear with enclosed rear wheels gives the impression that this dream machine is gliding on air. On completion, Dubonnet elected to christen the car Xenia after his late wife. The car was hidden during World War II and today forms part of the wonderful Mullen Automotive Museum collection in California, of course winning many accolades, including Best of Show at the 2016 Concours of Elegance at Windsor Castle. A wonderful motor car, thank you so much. I'll close the door for you, Peter.
Well, thank you to the Mullen Collection for bringing this astonishing Dubonnet Xenia, as Peter said, winner of our show 2016 at Windsor Castle, and therefore being judged by His Royal Highness Prince Michael, our patron, to be the winner of the Prince Michael class alongside 2 other past winners.